have any data on whether or not people were watching the entire thing?
We did. At first, we were using Rever, which to get to be considered, served an ad, you had to watch the whole thing. In the end, we ended up with Blip right now, and I'm not sure where CBS is going to go, next. But we were more about the brand, Wall Strip. We didn't care if you watched the show. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live. I mean, I don't watch the show for the last 7, 8 years, but I know the brand, and I know what it means. So we were all about using widgets and getting, in that shot that opens the show. People just were inundated in my space, in the financial world. They had seen it somewhere. They maybe hadn't even watched the show, but we were getting kudos for just seeing the Wall Strip colors and the Wall Strip banners, and it just got associated with goofing on stocks.
Well, and yet, but kudos doesn't translate into dollars, so.
Didn't translate into dollars, and that's the scary part. I mean, that's, when we started in October, we were like, Google and Yahoo will figure it out. Like, by the time we get 3 months into it, if our content's good, they're going to be figuring out how to serve ads and what we're doing. And then 3 months into it, we were like, oh shit, like the CPMs suck. Nobody, calling an advertiser and getting them to. It just, we weren't built to do what really needed to be done to run a video show. We didn't have the sales and advertising in. So that's when it got scary for us. Meaning, we had to say, we've got to come up with an aggressive attack to get noticed and to do something, because the space has not evolved quite yet still, to the point, and I think people would be lying to themselves if they thought it did.
So, on our Podcast Brothers show that we do, any Podcast Brothers listeners here? Good? All 7 of you are here. Excellent. We talk about that. We talk about you have to either have somebody yourself do those calls and get on the phone and sell the sponsorship, or you got to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Which did you do? Did you have a salesperson?
I just work nonstop. I trust myself as a biz dev person. I mean, it was my baby. I felt nobody could sell it better than me, but I was making up numbers, like an ad agency would call me and say, well, Trade King wants to advertise with us. I'd write $3,000. And you wouldn't hear from them, then you didn't know, like, were they serious? I mean, so everybody knows what that's like. It's a nightmare. It's the nightmare of the business. It's fun to create it. It's fun to distribute it. It's fun to get comments. It sucks now to say, Mr. Advertiser, we got like 2,000 views or 5,000 views or this blah, blah, blah demographic, and we got 62 comments and people are coming back, yada, yada. I think your brand would be cool on this space. Like with Wall Strip, stupidly, I was like, well, we're covering great companies, like, so CRM, every company we cover, Apple, they're going to sponsor her laptop, and Monster Energy Soda, Hanson's is going to like be a sponsor of the show, and Starbucks. But in the end, it's the same crazy brands. Like, I mean, why are the brands that everybody already knows in that space advertising on that space? So part of it is, but what are you going to do? They control the purse strings. You can't shake their heads and go, you idiots, why do we need another stockbroker commercial on a stockbroker site or on a financial site? The advertisers just aren't there yet. Like, they're not thinking outside the box as much as we are as creators of content. And that's frustrating, I'm sure, for everybody, as it is me.
And did you have to do
but not as frustrating now that I don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Now, when you first approached advertisers, did they get it, or did they think, oh, user-generated content, no thanks? I mean, even though it's obviously done professionally, it's got a great production value.
We definitely got a lot of inbound calls about it. We just never closed anything.
And why do you think that? They just weren't ready? Were the numbers not there?
I mean, in the end, they didn't sign up because they didn't believe, or they just, if someone's really interested, they're going to make a counter offer, and they're going to say, no, we'll give you $1,000.
It sounds like they're looking into it.
Everybody was looking into it, and they may be looking into it till 2011. I think, that's why ad networks right now are in play. I mean, Dakota was bought, and all these everybody's getting bought out because the big media companies are saying, well, we'll just figure out a way to just massively distribute those ads. And I'm a venture capitalist, and I make investments in that space as well. And one right now is Lotame, and they are a social delivery of networks based on, truly what you're actually looking at. And so there's a gold rush there to figure out, because look at all the content people. I mean, I was talking to some people, there's good ideas. I mean, So we've got to figure out a way, or not we, because I'm not smart enough, but the guys that I'm investing in and venture capitalists are investing in have got to figure out a way. I just think I was a year early, and so I feel lucky to, to have the opportunity to work with CBS because they have the ability to, they have Salesforce, and they have brands that they already represent. So that pressure, we can focus on the show and distributing the show.
Let's talk about CBS. My first thought, and I'll be honest with you, when I heard about this, is I thought, why can't CBS just do this themselves? It's not like they don't produce media already. So what do you think, what was in it for them?
Well, you're just a hater.
Just keeping it real.
What was in it for them? According to the press release, I'm a genius, so no.
Who wrote that? You wrote that?
Yeah, I wrote that part of it.
Okay.
I spelt it with 2 E's. They didn't know what I meant. According to the press release, seriously, the honest answer is they didn't buy it from me. They bought it for Jeff and Adam and the way Adam and they could edit and create video. I just was right place, right time, I think. I think Wallstrip, they don't have a real financial presence, CBS. They were looking for a way. They have all this content, whether it be 60 Minutes and all their new stuff, and Katie Couric. They were thinking maybe Adam and Jeff and this whole team could do it. And I think that's still the plan, is Adam and Jeff are working on other show ideas for them. So it's just a way to take content, mix it up, and distribute it on the web. And they were hoping that the energy from what we were creating would translate. And I think it is. Like, there's stuff coming out that we're working on. So there's always a reason. I think a lot of times luck's involved. They know more than me. It's kind of like a pitcher. If Roger Clemens or somebody throws at a batter, nobody knows except Clemens if he really meant to hit the batter. So I think unless I get Quincy drunk and he tells me why he did it, I'm never going to know the real reason. But I think for synergies and the fact that we had buzz and the fact that we had some credibility and the fact that they thought they could leverage Adam and Jeff's talents, and those are the reasons.
And how did you come about the negotiation price of the number? You talked about kind of throwing numbers out there in terms of advertising. Was it the same way for the price of the sale of it?
It was like a Seinfeld show. When I went into the meetings, if they had offered free coffee, I probably would have taken it. But it helped that there was a few interested parties in the business. And I can't get into the details of it, but it was the best part of the whole, just being in a room at CBS negotiating, the deal was surreal. And so those are the moments that were the best part of the whole thing for me. For the rest of the crew, the best part is doing the show on a daily basis. But for me, it was kind of surreal to be in a room 8 months after starting a show, talking to CBS like I knew what I was talking about in production. What I knew how to do was write a consistent show about a topic. And that was, what I still do, and promote and be, the kind of the face behind the brand.
So were you surprised